Alright, this is my final project for Humanities 250. My name is Joseph Lufrano, and there's no doubt that digital technology has improved a lot of aspects of our lives. Um, the future applications of digital technology are virtually endless, but the digital technology that I'd like to talk about that I think that'll be useful in the future is augmented reality and technical education. So let's start by talking about augmented reality. So what is it? Well, augmented reality is a technology that superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. So that's something like when you hold up your camera on your phone to something that's going on out in the real world, and different information can pop up around it, but basically tell you what's going on. Or if you're wearing a headset, and again, whatever you're in your field of view, information can pop up about. You can interact with things without physically touching them. Um, and that differs from virtual reality, where the entire field of view is computer generated. This is actually using what is physically there and then superimposing computer generated images over it. So there's already a couple of applications for augmented reality, some of which are recreations, things like games. You think about like Pokemon Go was a big thing where you hold your camera up and then a little Pokemon shows up wherever you're pointing it. So it's adding to what's physically there in the real world. The military use it for some weapon systems. You think of like fighter jet targeting systems. They uh, they lay the targeting system over an actual the pilot's actual field of view or the camera's field of view. Medical training, so some medical students can use it without having to actually open up a human body, or they can use it to look at a human body and see what different organs and things that are going on inside, or veins, without actually having to get into it like that. Navigation, so there's some navigational apps that they'll layer arrows and distance markers and things like that over what you're actually seeing. If you hold up your phone to it, or different kinds of glasses and stuff like that will show you that. And then tourism, so you can go to museums and things. If you have the right app on your phone, you can hold it up to a piece of art or an artifact or something like that, and it'll give you some information about it. So the future application that I'd like to talk about, that I'm going to emphasize on today, is technical education in automobile and aircraft maintenance, construction, and process technology. We're going to start off first by talking about automobile and aircraft maintenance. So as it goes right now, training for these types of jobs are essentially hands-on. So they're done in a shop or in an aircraft hangar or something like that, where people are physically working on equipment that either the company who hired them or the school they're going to has bought this equipment for them to work on, or for people to learn how to use it. The way it'll look with augmented reality is something like this, where you can hold up an iPad to it and it'll tell you different parts of the engine or different parts of the vehicle that you're working on, without having to constantly refer back to a book. You can just hold this up in front of it and it'll tell you exactly what's going on in that vehicle. Again, here's an airplane motor that the guy's sitting here looking at. So it'll be something like this, where you don't actually need the equipment in front of you or telling you everything that's going on with it, or a book to do that. It'll tell you that as soon as you look at it. So some positives to this is that it'll be cost saving. So you won't have to constantly purchasing textbooks or purchasing training equipment. It'll all just be based on an iPad or a phone, which would be great too if everyone's already got a cell phone. You can tell them your students to download an app or something like that, and they can just point it at what they're working on and already learn what they need to do that way. Versatility, so you can do this virtually anywhere as long as you have something to point the camera at. You don't need a huge shop where you need 10 different motors for people to work on. Everyone could be kind of working on the same thing. Accessibility, again, it kind of goes along with versatility, that you can do it pretty much anywhere. Anyone can do it, and it'll be relatively cheap. And then mobility, you can do it on the go. You can do it You can send someone out. Maybe they haven't worked on a certain motor before, but you have a call out. They can go out there armed with the app on their phone that can tell them what's going on in the motor, and they can familiarize with themselves with it on the job. Some drawbacks would be these lack of hands-on experience. So a lot of people think that jobs like these, you actually need to be in the trenches, doing the physical job under the stresses that would be on you in a normal situation. And then there's the augmented reality equipment maintenance. So if you are supplying an iPad or augmented reality headset or something like that to your students, then you're going to need someone to maintain that. That's going to be an added expense for the school or company that's hiring these people. The next application I'd like to talk about is augmented reality in construction. So right now, construction, typically construction jobs are taught through an apprenticeship where the worker is assigned someone or a few people who they go and basically do the job with every day, and those people he's expected to pick up the information as he goes along. And in augmented reality, for an electrician or something, they can, as they're learning the job, they hold an iPad or a cell phone or glasses or something up to a wall or something and see where wires need to be ran, how they should be ran. Probably tell you different. You can have different codes and stuff on there, or building codes for that certain thing you're building that they can learn right there on the spot. Then also here, like blueprints. If you're not familiar with reading blueprints, then you can hold an iPad or something up to it, and you can get a 3D view of the thing you're trying to build. Positives to this are going to be a variety of trades. You can teach electricians, carpenters. You can even do like cement or anything like that. If you can have just one app or something on the phone or an iPad that can teach people how to do this kind of work. Familiarity, so you can people can familiarize themselves with a certain equipment that they're going to be using. Accessibility, again, anyone will be able to do it. You can bring these out you can bring the Toughbook iPad types out to job sites, and you can use them wherever. Maybe it's something that this worker's never done before. They'll be able to familiarize themselves real quick without having to bring in a specialist or something like that to teach them how to use things that they've never used before. And affordability, again, you're not going to need to pay someone to fly out or drive out or something like that to teach people certain things on the job site. The negative of that is tech dependency. So if you teach someone through this perspective where they have all the information on hand that they need, they may become dependent on it, and then they might not actually know what needs to be done when the augmented reality is taken away. The last application I want to talk about is process technology. So that's like plant workers, refinery workers, things like that. Right now, it's similar to apprenticeship. You're assigned someone to work with. You do the job. You might have some tests or something like that during the training process, and then after that, you're expected to just know everything. And augmented reality, if you had an application like that, again, you have the iPad or the headset or something like that. You hold it up to a pump or a motor, and you can tell you everything you need to know about it. And that can work with different. If you've ever been in a plant or manufacturing facility like that, you'll know that there's different pieces of equipment from all different eras and generations and things like that, and stuff you might not have ever seen before, and you're expected to familiarize yourself with it essentially immediately. With this, you can hold it up to it, and you would know what you need to know about it right there on the spot. Positives to this application is limiting injuries. So like I said, there's a lot of equipment that you might not be familiar with, might be outdated. These warnings can pop up with certain failures that this piece of equipment regularly encounters. There's real-time data trends, or if you're throttling a valve or something like that, you can look at flows and see what's actually happening as you do it. Then cost efficient, you don't need to pay someone for a year of training when they can pick it up potentially quicker, having all the information on hand as they're looking at it. And then availability, anyone can do it, and then you don't need to assign someone the task of training somebody else. Drawbacks can be vision limitations and PPE limitations, which kind of go hand in hand. If you're wearing a headset or you're holding an iPad or something, that your hands aren't free, or your vision's blocked by the PPE if you're wearing a respirator or a hard hat or something like that, that could be an issue that may need to be worked around. All right, so there's societal effects that are going to take place with this technology. Some of those are going to be, there's going to be ease of access to to this technology, which means that more people are going to get trained in in-demand jobs. It's going to be lower cost for these people to do it, so more people are going to be able to do it. You're going to be able to get more people into these jobs, which make a pretty decent salary. And then classroom portability. You can take the classroom anywhere. If you had an iPad, you can teach the basics in the classroom maybe, but then you could send them around into the field and they can learn right there. And all of these advantages are going to lead to better trained workers, so they're going to know exactly what is going to exactly what they're looking at and what they need to do to operate it or build it or whatever they're doing. It's going to cost these companies or training schools less to train people, which is going to mean more money in people's pockets or cheaper prices for the customer, which is always good. There's going to be better on-the-job training because it's not just going to be someone telling you information. You're actually going to be holding up a camera to it, and you will have recorded data already at your fingertips. And new equipment training. So whenever you get a new piece of equipment, usually they'll fly someone out to teach the people how to use it. With this, they can just send you a file, and the file you can download onto your VR equipment, hold it in front of it, and everything that you need to know about it, it'll teach you right there. So that is all I have for augmented reality and technical education. I think this is going to be a really good thing. As someone who's worked in manual labor jobs the majority of my adult life, I think that it's going to help people learn more. It's going to make it easier for people to learn, and it's just going to lead to an all over safer workplace for a lot of these technical trades that could be potentially dangerous. The last slide I have here are my references. And that's all I have. Thank you for watching.